Hi everyone, it's me, Louise from 805 Soap, and I'm back making another soap. This is with a clear base, and there goes my dogs. Lucy! Lucy! I'm sorry. I'm working with a clear base today, and today we're going to be making Sakura Hana. So I'm going to make the base a color because my embeds are white, so it'll contrast them. I have my micas in here, so I'm going to just pour that in there, and I need some more alcohol. It all settled on the bottom. The alcohol does go away in the soaps. It doesn't smell like alcohol, so but that looks like a cherry blossom to me. I just like to get all my colorant that I can out of there. So there you go. In this base, what I thought I would do was add some poppy seeds. And I just buy my poppy seeds in the spicing department in the grocery store. It's not real rocket science. It's a mild exfoliation, which is really nice. It's not too rough, but it does give the soap base a different texture, and it looks really cool in soap. I think it does. But I like the little scrubbies on it too. So, yeah, so we're just making soap for this festival, and it's really hot. I got 2 fans working out here, and I got a thermometer out here, and it's 85. So that's not too bad. And it's in the afternoon, so it's been getting cooler. But I just wanted to tell you, I've got a website. I tear it down usually during the summer months, because the summer months I'm doing a lot of festivals, and I don't have the time. Usually working with a festival and then soaping, it's just so hard on me to do it. So I just kind of not do it during the festival time, because the festivals take up a lot of my time. So we're going to put in our 2 ounces of Japanese cherry blossom. And that Japanese cherry blossom was a little bit more yellow in there, and it did turn it a little bit. So I might add a little bit more colorant in there. Did you see how that happened? It isn't going to turn it, it turned it muddy, is what I want to say. So, and that's just because of the fragrance oil that you work with. If you work with clear fragrance oils, it doesn't happen. But if they're yellow or an orange tinge, then you have to work with them. But who has ever seen an orange Japanese cherry blossom, you know, or a yellow one? They're mostly pink or white. That's the ones I've looked up. And I do that. I look up stuff on the internet all the time when I'm soaping, to get an idea of exactly what I'm soaping for colors, because again, I think it's important that, for me, that my colors kind of match my fragrance oils. So I'm just going to put a little bit more colorant in there, and that worked out. As you can see, it turned right back. So, and I don't use a lot of colorant. I use less than the recommended amount. So I'll show you this little measuring thing that I have. Here it is. It's really dirty. It's all full of colors, and it's called a tad. So I'm way below the 1 tablespoon, because the one thing I have a little pet peeve of is I can't stand to get a soap and have it bleed all over my bathroom and my wash rags. It just makes me crazy. I mean, I just can't end up using it. It just, for me, it just doesn't work. So that's just me. I mean, if you like your soaps brown, that's fine. If you don't mind them turning, that's fine. But personally, I just don't care for it. I just think there's too many good fragrances out there to use to get stuck with the bad one. But so anyways, what have I been doing? Been working. This is hot, so I have to cool it down. The other way to cool this down too is to take some soap squares. I'll show you a little trick. Is you take some of these blocks that I've already cut up and you put them in here. It's kind of like, if you will, it's kind of like ice cubes that'll cool it down. So that'll cool it down, and it'll also melt it. And that helps bringing that temperature down in order to not melt those embeds, because I don't want to do that. But there's just a lot of little things when you work with melt and pour that it's just kind of like, it's not rocket science. If you buy some books, it's all in books. I've learned a majority of everything in books because nobody was ever doing videos on melt and pour, and I got frustrated. So I started to buy a lot of books, and I started to read a lot of them. And I think I give out a lot of information on most of my videos as far as colorants and what I do. But it's hard. It's not easy to find information out there because, again, everybody's doing cold processed soap, so that kind of takes precedent over glycerin soaps. And, you know, like I said, my business is geared around the glycerin soaps more today than they were a year ago, because I just can't sell them. And, you know, it's just been difficult for me to do it. So I had a soaper the last festival I was last month. It was really interesting because two of us had showed up, and I had brought in melt and pour and cold process soap. And some of my cold process had essential oils in them, and some of them were fragrance oils. I had them all packaged up, labeled, everything ready to go on the table. And then I had melt and pour already packaged up, ready on the tables. And I sold more melt and pour. I mean, that whole festival, I did take more melt and pour, but I sold it. And the lady that was there with me, if you're on Facebook, she's pretty well known in the county here. She's a goat soaper, and she's got a really thriving business here. She supplies many companies up in the Santa Barbara area, and she sold goat's milk soap with essential oils only. And this was a 2-day festival, and she ended up leaving after the first day because her sales were not there. And I had phenomenal sales both days, and I mean, you know, I just don't understand it. So I think it's sometimes it's the market that you're in and where you're going to go, you know. So I stay to mostly the beachy areas and areas by the beach. A lot of the people here in California relate to my soap to Neutrogena, and you know, it's a glycerin soap, and that's how they relate to it. And Neutrogena is very big here in California. I mean, a lot of women are familiar with it, which is great for me. A lot of people use it, so that just helps me out. But like I said, there's a little bit of frustration, but like I said, I'm not going to stress about it. But the other soaper that was at that festival, you know, she lost a whole day of sales, and she ended up leaving the festival. So, I mean, what are you going to do? If sales are down, you just can't sit there and not sell anything. But she didn't come over to my booth or anything, and I didn't go over to hers. I just figured, you know what, if she wants to come talk to me, she will. And maybe she thought the same thing about me, but I like competition. I don't mind it at a festival or a fair. I kind of enjoy it because I know the fragrance oils that I use are not cheap. So to me, you can smell my soaps like walking down a thoroughfare, you know, and people will just say, oh man, I smelled it way down there. What was that, you know? So I know my fragrance oils are working for me, or they're working with me anyway. So you know, and that's what you want. You want people to buy it because of color and fragrance, in my opinion. That's why I buy it. So, but this is hot. It's not cooling down like I'd like it to. See, all those pieces are melted. So it got pretty hot in there. And I don't take temperature of my soaps. I used to. But I can just usually feel it by temperature, by my hand of what the temperature is. But it's not cooling down either because of the weather. So yeah, so that's like I said, it's interesting when other soapers, I know of some other soapers, there's a soaper over at the my local farmer's market, and she's been there for 10 years, and I can't participate in that farmer's market because of her, and she doesn't want me to participate in there because she's the only soaper, and it's like, you know, this is ridiculous. It's soap. And if you go to our farmer's market, I mean, there's 2 and 3 of everything because it's really big down at our harbor. But yeah, so they won't let me in there, and I'm kind of really disgusted about that. But you know what? It's okay. I did meet her at another festival, and you know, what can I say? I don't mind if she's there or people are there. I encourage soapers or other people, you know, to deal with it, because it makes it only encourages you to make your product better. And for me, it does. It makes me work harder. It makes me get, you know, what else can I do to make my product look better? So, I don't know. I think people are just, you know, doing the same thing over and over, and I'm just not like that. Like I said, a little bit of competition never hurt anybody. So, that's amazing how hot this is. It's warm. It's still really warm. But that's because of the outside temperature, and I've also noticed that my soaps have been drying so fast with this heat. Ugh, it's unbelievable. I don't refrigerate my melt and pour. I do sometimes with my embeds if I'm making a lot of them and I need a lot to get out. I'll use the refrigerator. I don't freeze them. I'll put them in the refrigerator. I've also put them in the refrigerator when I've used cold process. Just before I put them in the loaf, and that sometimes helps if you know that loaf is going to get hot. But I just don't like it because sometimes they sweat, and I don't like sweating on the soaps. I don't think it looks great, but those little beads can be annoying. So as I sit here and stir this, it's cooling down a little bit, but it's still warm. I think it's going to be too warm. Let's try it and see. And like I said, the alcohol does burn off. It's not anything that's going to compromise the base of it. And this festival is the 4th of July festival at Channel Islands Harbor, and they're expecting over 10,000 people, which is kind of scaring them holy heck out of me because I'm so late with this. And I don't want those clumps to get in there because those are the ones I didn't melt, or I can throw it back in the microwave and melt them. But see how pretty that is with the little poppy seeds? And people like that. They think it's all natural. Well, it is natural, but yeah, I think we're going to be okay with this. But see how fast it's set up? So I break those balls, I break those bubbles down because I don't want them to do that. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of the white on the top. Let's see if it sinks down a little bit. That's how you can tell too. You just have to play with it, basically. So what I did was I made a lot of shell molds, and because this is a beach festival, so I wanted to put shells and stuff on there because there'll be a lot of boaters and stuff will be, you know, a lot of beach people. If you've never been to California, it's kind of neat. We have just some awesome harbors and places to go and things to do. There's so many festivals here. I can't even attend half of them. There's so many. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I know a friend of mine said she was going to be moving here shortly, and I was like, you don't know what you have in mind, because the festivals, it's 24/7. There's so many of them. I could be going to a festival every weekend if I wanted to, but I work a full-time job. So if somebody did this full-time, and I know that there are people that do, you would make some money. So this is, and I just break the top on there and make them stand up a little bit. And I'm going to take these whole loaves with me to the festival, and then I'll cut them there in front of people when they want to slice. So it'll be kind of fun to watch. They love it when you do that, when you cut the soap in front of them. So here is my Japanese cherry blossom, or Sakura Hana, sea soap. And some of these will fall off. And I just put a little bit of glitter, if I can find my glitter bottle. Here it is. Not much, because the embeds have glitter on it. But there you go. Sakura Hana. Have a great one. Thanks, you guys. Bye.